time it is. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is.
Welcome to the Matthew Mania Podcast. I'm Matthew Maschler, real estate broker who watches wrestling as if it's my job. And with me, the co-host of the Matthew Mania Podcast, Neil the Heel Glazier. Hi, Neil. How are you?
Hey, Matthew. How you doing?
I am doing great, We have a very, very special guest today, someone I've been wanting to get on the show for a very long time.
Yeah, he's a powerhouse of a guest, actually. You know, he's a former WWE Superstar, a college football standout, and now a brand new force in BRCW. And you saw him make his major impact at BRCW Challenge Accepted, the one and only Odyssey.
Odyssey, what's up, Big O?
What it do, everybody? Appreciate you having me. Matt, Neil, always love y'all. It goes way back. And I'm excited to be on the pod with y'all. Finally, I listened, and I was waiting patiently for my turn. I know everyone's blowing you up to be a part of what you got going on. So I just waited for my turn. I'm happy that it's finally here, baby. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, we called 15 people today, and they couldn't do it, and then we got to you. So
Neil the Heel, everybody.
Hey,
the guy bear hugged me to death. What do you want me to do?
I'll take it.
All right.
They say you saved the best for last. You go 15 and 16 came through, baby.
That's right. So,
all right. So let's just talk. Because you made a big splash in the WWE. You made a big splash at BRCW. But a lot of people don't know who you are. So let's go back to the beginning, right? You played ball in college.
Yeah, I could do a quick little biopic.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, do or die. Brooklyn stand up, they know that. Moved out to Longwood, to Coram, small town out in Long Island, a.k.a. why I'm called the Coram City Crusher. Had a great time
City
there.
Crusher.
Went to Longwood. You like that, right?
Yeah.
Took me years to workshop that one, Matt. Took me years. Went to Longwood High School, two-time All-State football player. Got a full ride to Syracuse, the best university in the world. Played at Syracuse, was a 4-year starter, 5-year player, captain. Got hurt my 5th year. All conference, preseason all conference going into that season. Had a NFL tryouts to CFL tryouts, and things didn't come to fruition. I had the benefit and the honor of meeting, I call him my guardian angel, Joe Saladino. Shout out, Joe. He saw me training after college. I was working overnight security, training all day, and he said, hey, I know Mark Henry. You know Mark Henry. I'm like a team who Mark Henry, so that's not the worst person for him to know. He said he knows Mark Henry. He could get me a tryout. Got me a tryout, went in, and, the rest is history. In the WWE, had a little bit of time, before COVID, and then COVID ended the world for everybody, which was tough times. Got back, did the breakout tournament, had a great time doing that, and let people see what I could do. Toward the patella tendon, had to sit down.
When you say breakout, you're talking about NXT breakout?
Yes, sir. NXT breakout tournament where I got to the finals toe-to-toe with Mr. Carmelo Hayes, man who don't miss himself. Had a great match. I think one of my best matches. Great brother right there. And after that, had a little bit of an injury. Came back from the injury, torn patella tendon. Had a few dark matches where I had the blessing and the opportunity to work weekly all over the country with great talent from, Austin Theory, Cameron Grimes, Cedric. Worked with them for a bit. Had a quick little more of a stint on NXT. Went to the main roster. Got to do a whole bunch of stuff outside of wrestling while on the main roster, while patiently waiting for my chance in terms of recruiting, learning the backstage things of creative production, even down to the camera crew and how they operate. So I got to learn a little bit of the ins and outs. Yeah, that was honestly one of the best times.
So when you're at NXT, they teach you how to work the camera, how to be a part of the camera crew to make you, a valuable, employee and a well-rounded professional.
Yeah, just like every other, I'll call it a machine. That's the easy way, or system. It's best to know as many parts of the system and also to understand the intricacies in your role with everyone else. So knowing how the camera looks and how production is calling things and switching from camera to camera live because it's on a little bit of a delay, helped it where I could work at a pace where every shot or every money shot and everything that needs to truly be seen gets seen. So I had a lot of time. A lot of people took me under their wing and they kind of just taught me, the ins and outs of everything. Creative took their time getting me into a slot, and they patiently waited to get me into the perfect spot for me, and I appreciate them for that. And then that leads to Odyssey Jones and my quick stint with the New Day, which was a fun time, a fun 3 weeks, to say the least.
I would say to people, and Odyssey and I, Odyssey, Neil and I, we've been friends for a couple of years, but those 3 weeks, that had to be the greatest 3 weeks that anybody could have in a wrestling career. I mean,
and we got to experience it live at one of the shows.
I was so happy to be there for that.
It really was. I think I don't really follow everything like everyone do. I'm kind of like put my head down and kind of grind kind of guy. But they told me the debut was 8 million people, 8 million views overnight. It was a blessing. Obviously, negativity came after it, and I have no problem touching on that with y'all. But it was a blessing because I always said if I got the opportunity to go out there, even if it was for a quick second, I'll make splashes, I'll make waves. And, to say the least, I definitely made splashes and made some waves.
Oh, yeah, you definitely did. And, so many people in NXT never even get that shot. So, the saying, right, it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved. So.
Loved it all. So I had that moment, and then the moment abruptly came to an end because of some negativity from a person that I used to engage with. Basically, my ex threw some ridiculous allegations out there, gross exaggerations of the truth. And you guys know because when it happened, I remember talking to you guys because I was at a BRCW show the next week from when it happened.
Yeah.
Actually, when all this happened, I remember talking to you guys and, I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm not going to sit here and say she's awful or the WWE was awful. Excuse my French, and I don't want to get you messed up on the podcast. I didn't have good dick discipline. So all the young men out there, have good dick discipline. Make good decisions when it comes to women. If a woman is just toxic or a person is toxic and you shouldn't be around them, just be around them. Don't have too much empathy. Don't give people too much of the benefit of the doubt. And I hate to say it, don't give people, third, fourth, fifth chances. And I did, and I learned the hard way. But like a man, I'll pick back up and I'll get back to the grind, baby.
Absolutely. That's what we're doing. We're big things coming up. You're using the name Odyssey as your ring name.
Yeah, Odyssey, 2 D's, no Jones. Yes,
Odyssey,
sir.
right. And Odyssey's been making his debut. He's been making the scene. Had a great match here with us at BRCW, and then all over at the other indies that I've seen. And the fan reaction has been incredible, warm and welcoming. Odyssey, talk to me for a second. Is Odyssey a heel or is he a face?
I mean, I feel like I'm a face. I feel like I feel like I'm as close, especially now, right? Because I don't have to be told exactly what to do or where to be or how to be. I feel like I'm as close to my genuine, authentic self. And I feel like as a human, and it sounds kind of weird to say this, we're all a little bit of a face and we're all a little bit of a heel.
Sure.
You get put in a situation where you feel belittled or disrespected, you might be a heel. You get put in a situation where you're getting, praise and the respect that you feel you deserve. I don't want to speak too much in pride. Both of those sounded very prideful, but, you get in a certain place where you get love, you'll be a face. So it really just kind of dictates in the situation I'm in, the interaction of who I'm working with in terms of, in ring, out of ring, and who's around me. And like I said before, really the situation I'm in. So I could do whatever is needed or whatever people force me to be, But sometimes the outside world really gets to you a bit. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for Odyssey. You made it to now you want to be friends. Okay. After bear hugging me to death. You made it to the grand stage at WWE. Take us back, and what was that like, your first time stepping into a WWE ring?
So it was exactly what you think. Stressful because, as a human, you think of all the stuff that could go wrong, but it was fun because everything went good. I mean, the fans responded well. The brothers I was working with were very, very, helpful. They did great with me. They took care of me where they needed to be and did what they had to do. It was a great opportunity. It was a blessing, to be honest, because like you said earlier, not everyone gets that chance. And, to the day I die, I'll always have that moment, and no one can take that away from me no matter what happens from now on.
Right. And look who you were trained by. I mean, who trained you? Coach Bloom, Shawn Michaels.
Oh, man. The list
Smiley,
goes on, man. Hands on.
Steve Kern.
I was with, Norman Smiley, Coach Robbie Brookside, Scotty Tuhati, Steve Carino, Fit Finley. AJ was great. Ace Steele, Chris Guy, and then just not even just that, just the people in the background kind of telling me things, telling me how to operate and conduct myself, and that list goes on for days. A lot of people in the WWE kind of took me under their wing and taught me, the things that I needed to know, from guys like Braun Strowman, even Paul Heyman grabbing me in the back and telling me some things. So, I was blessed to be able to rub shoulders with so many great people and great names. I was blessed that they took a liking to me and was willing to impart their wisdom. And I was blessed that I had the diligence and the intelligence to take it, digest it, and use it for how it needed to be used in terms of performing in the ring.
Yeah, what an experience that must have been. And speaking of which, do you have any memories that stand out from your time on NXT?
Yeah, I do. A few. The first one is, one of my few title matches back in the day on 205 Live. I went for the Cruiserweight Championship against Roddy. I almost had him. I would have been I probably would have been one of the heavier cruiserweights.
Wait, was that, did you say 205 Live or 405 Live? Was that
405 Live? Yeah. So, that was a great time. I talked about it earlier. The breakout tournament was fun, was really a fun time for me. I got a chance to six-man with Idris and Josh, and that was a great time as well. I'm sorry, Malik Blade. That was a great time as well. I mean, so many. I had so much fun, and even though it's I'm not there for now, I do think one day I will get back there. I think I just have to go through the journey, and I have to go through this growth not only as a man, as a human, but as a performer. So I'll go through the journey and see what happens. I mean, if CM Punk could get back, why can't I, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Anybody can. And
he's main event in WrestleMania. So who knows? You might be seeing Odyssey at a WrestleMania one day.
Let's hope so.
That would be glorious.
We'll be there. But then you went ahead and you made your
about a long time coming.
So after all this, you made your BRCW debut at Challenge Accepted. What drew you to Boca Raton Championship Wrestling?
Besides you two guys? Or what do you mean?
Yeah.
I remember, and I say it all the time.
What do you think about
I remember years ago, I love BRCW. I was on the train before it became a thing.
Oh, yeah.
I say this story to y'all all the time. I remember when we sat in Applebee's in 2019 at Fort Pierce, and you guys were talking about it. I remember when you guys, I used to go every month. Well, not every month, because y'all do basically a show every 2 months, but I remember going down every other month for the shows and being with you guys and the boys. And, I love seeing BRCW just because I love, one, y'all talking about it and making it action, and two, seeing the growth of it. I remember the first shows, and Neil, for you in particular, you were announcing originally and then you became a manager. I remember seeing your nervousness in there announcing, and now you're doing title matches and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And Matt, I know, before you was running around, handling business, putting out fires everywhere. And now it just seems like it's just easy to you. Someone comes up and says something. Oh, okay, cool. Boom, 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 boom. So it's just great to see, you guys grow. And it's great to see people and my friends dreams come true. And, BRCW is buzzing. You guys have a lot of people messaging you trying to join. I have a lot of people messaging me trying to join.
Yeah.
So it's just great to see you guys, put the work in, trust and have faith in yourselves and y'all abilities, and to see it come true. BRCW is, in my eyes, and I might be a little biased, but BRCW is the hottest indie promotion, out there. Like, there's WWE, AEW, TNA, the big dogs that are on television weekly and all that. But when it comes to promotions of people doing what they want to do and building what they want to build, nothing's hotter than Boca Raton. Like, nothing's really hotter than Boca Raton Championship Wrestling.
Hey.
So it's great being a part of it. I'm excited. May 18th, I get to take on Jack Talos, the big guy himself. That dude is massive, but I think I got a little something in the tank for him, and I got some moves that he's not ready for, so I'm excited for that for sure.
And hopefully you can squash that little annoying ant, Frank the Clown, also. I have
he's
a
a great
problem.
clown, man.
Yeah. But not a great referee.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah, so I'm going to revisit what you said. We go way back to before we started BRCW with the other different Matthew Mania events, and then when we got the idea from and working with Nelio at CCW, you touched on like Neil doing some ring announcing there, and that's where we kind of got the feel and the look for it when we decided to do it. So it's just amazing that you were there with us when we as we created this, and thank you for saying what you said about like I don't feel that tension. The first five or six shows I felt that tension on the day of the show, but now know what I'm doing, and we take it all in stride, and yeah, it's been fantastic.
You know what they say about BRCW? This shit's hot.
What do they say about BRCW?
This shit's hot.
That's
It definitely is, man.
and we still have those shirts on the Pro Wrestling Tees website. We had a bit of a hot tub party, and it was late, and it was someone mentioned that the hot tub was hot.
Yeah.
Hot, and we came up with BRCW. BRCW, that shit's hot.
I think Omari was there.
No, it was Omari came up with it.
Yeah.
I almost freaking died.
Yeah, but I still have. I
Having
still,
a good time.
That is
Thank God y'all were there.
That is my favorite shirt to just wear around the house. My BRCW, that shit's hot. That's where that came from. And then we made the sister shirt, BRCW, that's cool shit. So we made both logos.
I love it.
That was I'd forgotten about that. That was very early on. But yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, Odyssey,
Good times, man.
what was it like stepping into a BRCW ring for the first time? And how did the crowd compare to other places you've performed?
I mean, BRCW has been one of the hottest crowds I've been at. And let's be honest, and I'm not just sugarcoating it, BRCW is always hot. Every time they go there, they're into it, they're entertained, they're, having fun. Like, wrestling and the business is all about entertainment, Whenever you go to a BRCW show, for 2 hours, you're going to leave all the worries and all the stress of life that comes at you, and you're going to be there enjoying it. You're going to be there happy. You're going to be there, cheering, booing, screaming, just going through the whole plethora of emotions, just being at BRCW. Again, I had a great time. I always have a great time there, in ring, out of ring, just being there and feeling the energy and being in Boca and, getting the true, because Boca's like a true Florida outside of Miami and maybe Tampa. Boca's super Florida. Like, it's just, the air is different by the beach and the people are nice and happy and carefree. So just being there is just amazing every time. The energy is great every time, from when I was, there as a fan and there as a worker. It's just amazing every time.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what else is amazing? Our locker room is pretty amazing. Can you share your thoughts on the BRCW locker room? And we know you have Jack Talos coming up next month. Is there anyone else you have your eyes on in BRCW?
Oh, man. I mean, the locker room's amazing. You got legends like Gangrel. You got Matt Riddle, the ultimate bro out there, Kurt Stallion. Big Bull James out there getting crazy. You know, the women do great. MJ and y'all bring in great talent. Rufy J. It's amazing. It's great being there because it doesn't feel like a locker room. I've been in many locker rooms in terms of, you know, football, tryouts, the sports I played in high school, you know, going back and forth from Raw to SmackDown to NXT, some weeks doing all three. But the locker room at BRCW, it feels more like a family. And I know that's kind of cliche and a lot of people say that, but you know, we go down and a lot of people don't know this is an in-house thing. We have the family dinner, you know, the night before the show. We come down, we eat, we talk, we hang out, we mingle with the wives, the kids, just the family and us as a collective. And it feels more, like I said, like a family than just clocking into work. You know, that 9 to 5 grind or that, I'm just here to go to work and go home. Like, it doesn't feel like that. And now that I get to experience some more places and, you know, independent scene and all that, I realize that that's not just a throwaway kind of comment and statement. That's something very special because some locker rooms are just not like that, you know? It just doesn't have that same feel, that same camaraderie, so to speak.
Absolutely. And that's part of the reason why, you know, why we did this was that during COVID, we all felt the separation. So, you know, a little bit was, you know, getting everybody back together again. And it's also the only time I get to, like, you know, talk to everybody. So we make plans and you know, we create stories and we create storylines and it's you know, it's an important piece. But to get invited to family dinner, though, it's an exclusive invitation. Not everybody on the card gets invited.
Yeah, not everyone's family. You know how it is, Matt.
Exactly. So.
All right. So what's next for Odyssey in BRCW and not only BRCW, beyond BRCW and beyond?
So
what's
first
next?
things first is taking care of Big Jack Talos May 18th. You know, that's going to be a little birthday gift to myself, is going in there and beating that man down. And then after that, it's really taking on all challengers and kind of seeing what I could do and kind of what I'm made of as a man inside ring, as a performer and an entertainer, and also outside of the ring and doing endeavors that I've always kind of wanted to do. And, you know, now I'm kind of freed up to do whatever. So I'm excited. You know, this week, and it's funny that we're talking about this, the past few weeks, I've been getting a lot of calls from promotions, from producers and agents and managers. And I was kind of shocked to see that because, you know, I never really saw myself that way. And being away from the WWE and going through what I went through and being where I'm at now, kind of, you know, on the back end of things and downhill a bit, it kind of really opened my eyes to my talents and my abilities as an individual. So I'm excited to see what's next. I'm excited to see, you know, what the world brings to me and what happens and where God places me. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, and you say you've been getting a lot of calls from promoters. We have WrestleMania coming up next week in Las Vegas. Are you going to be out there? Are you going to be working any shows? What are your plans?
So I'll be out there. As of now, I have some announcements that's going to come out soon about what's going on. We haven't, you know, they didn't feel properly ready to put it out there. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I will be out there. You're going to have to come out to Vegas. You're going to have to check it and check the show schedules and see where we at. And if you bump into me, don't be a weirdo. Don't be a stranger. Say what up to your boy. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be out there. As of now, I'm working a few things. They're actually about to do the announcement. I just wanted to wait for them to do it before I did it. So I'll be patient with that. But Odyssey will be out in Vegas for the first time, by the way. First time in Vegas.
Oh, you've never been to Vegas?
Never been to Vegas.
Oh, wow.
First time. So I'm excited for that.
I'll be there.
A heck of an experience.
It's
what days do you guys get in?
Yeah. I'll be there for a while.
We're there. I'm there Wednesday through Monday. I have to leave first thing Monday morning. Yeah, I have to leave first thing Monday morning. We'll offline. You'll tell you where. You know, let's talk about where we're staying. I don't mind saying it on the radio. I'm staying at the Mandalay Bay, unless I change it to Park MGM.
Okay.
but I'm staying at the Mandalay Bay.
So I got an Airbnb because sometimes I need my space. So I had a few friends, and we'll drive on and off the strip. Because you know me and how I get. I could be there for so long, and then I gotta go and kind of decompress.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just love a hotel. I like a hotel. I like someone make my bed. I like a hotel that'll make my bed twice in a day. So I'm staying at the
simple, easy.
You know, I'll tell you the truth. I'm actually lying when I say I'm staying at the Mandalay Bay. Mandalay Bay was the first hotel to do this. It's so big. It has all these restaurants and and pools and everything like that. Mandalay Bay is so big that they decided to put another hotel on the property. So I don't know what floor it is, but there's 4 or 5 floors of the Mandalay Bay that they actually rent out to a different hotel, which is the Four Seasons Las Vegas. So I'm staying at the Four Seasons Las Vegas. I'm not even staying at the Mandalay Bay. So they have their own check-in desk. They have their own driveway, their own porte cochere with their own check-in desk. But when it takes you to the elevator bank, the elevators, they're just right next to the main Mandalay Bay elevators. But you can get in and out of Mandalay Bay through the Four Seasons elevator and through the Four Seasons entrance without anyone seeing you. And it's super upscale, and it's got nicer amenities and sheets and toiletries, etc. And the twice daily room attendant, so they have the turn down service.
I'm slumming it. I'm at the Mandalay Bay.
You're at the real Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
So I tell people Mandalay Bay, but I'm saying I'm living life. I tell people Mandalay Bay, but I'm living life on the top of the Four Seasons, baby.
That's a good setup, man. So you don't have people up in your face. I mean, I'm sure when people see you out there, and I know you're a fan just like everyone else. You enjoy this wrestling community just like all of us, all 3 of us in here. But I'm sure when they see you out there, people are going to be in your face. Not only workers, other promotions, other the fans, just everyone. I mean,
I'm bringing I'm bringing my T-shirt. You know the T-shirt.
Which one? It's hot.
I'm not booking any talent tonight.
Stay away.
Oh yeah. Hey, everyone's gonna be asking you. But I'm curious though. You ever gonna do a crossover where you have a I know you guys did the NWA before. You gonna do another crossover with some people?
With who?
I mean, I don't know. Realistically, you could go with anyone. You really?
We'd have to
see how your roster.
We'd have to figure out the right promotion. I like working with other promotions. I've offered to white label certain companies and other promoters where we could set up the ring for them and help with the card and everything. They could basically do what I do. They could book it, but we could just deliver the whole show to them, seamlessly, and they could either book the main event or their favorite wrestlers for the 1 or 2 matches, or they could book the whole thing. So I don't mind doing stuff like that for other promoters. But we'd have to find the right one. We'd have to find someone that has their own roster, right? Where the roster's known.
Top of my head.
Yeah, top of your head. Go ahead.
Off the top of my head is one of the other hottest promotions is Fourth Rope and West Side Gun.
Yeah.
I remember us hanging out in the back at a BRCW show. Chilling.
He's a fan. He's definitely a fan.
I mean, and Fourth Rope is killing it. They're hot too. So maybe that would be something cool down the road or something. Have a champ bout. I mean, just spitballing, just throwing some shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's all.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's do it. We should. We got to start wrapping this interview up, but
absolutely.
Do have finally one last question for you. Because you've done it. What advice do you have for athletes looking to make the jump into pro wrestling?
I'll say a few things. One, be ready to start from the bottom. When you're an athlete, especially when you've done years, I played football for 12, 15 years before I did wrestling. You do the football, you know it all, or not all of it, but you know a lot of it. You're at a higher level. You are at one point the highest in your field, so to speak. When you go into wrestling, this wrestling world is completely different than anything, anything I've ever done. It's its own uniqueness. And the second thing is, you're always closer to breaking through than you know. You ever see the meme with the guy with the pick and he's digging in the ground and he gives up, and the other guy, and he's right by the diamonds, and the other guy keeps digging and he hits the diamonds? Have you seen those pictures before?
Absolutely.
It's like wrestling is just like that. When you feel like, oh, I should give up, or oh, I can't do it, or oh, I'm not talented enough, that's when I feel you should push, the hardest, because that's when you will have that breakthrough, and that's when you would have that genuine moment to excel and to succeed in the level and the goals that you have set for yourself. So don't be prideful. Be ready to start from the bottom. And when you start, do not quit. See it through.
That is great advice from Odyssey.
It's so weird to say that every time everyone says Odyssey, they want to say the Jones.
Yeah.
I want to say something. Right?
I want to say Omari.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah. I don't get that a lot anymore.
Let's go Odyssey Palmer. All right. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of the Matthew Mania Podcast. Huge thanks to Odyssey, Omari Palmer, Big O, for joining us and sharing his story. Sound the alarm. From dominating on the football field to lighting up the ring of the WWE and now making waves in BRCW, his journey just got started. And if you missed Challenge Accepted, our last show, go back and check out his explosive debut, because Odyssey is here to stay. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us for more Inside Wrestling right here on Matthew Mania Podcast. Until next time, MatthewMania.com, the Matthew Mania Podcast, and on all social media. Check out our brand new Instagram. I had so much Instagram going on. I had to break it up and created the Matthew Mania Podcast Instagram channel. So check that out, and we will see you online or in person or on May 18th in Meisner Park for BRCW Underground.
You know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. Yeah, got him shook, scared, can't look. We're not afraid of the big bad wolf. First comes the right, followed by the left hook. Execute perfect, this is textbook. If you ever test, make sure you bring the best. Head into the ring with the M on my chest. Any match, bring the ladders and the tables. Lock us in the cage and nobody can save you. When it's war, I'm coming to destroy. Napalm blast, I'm coming with the noise. They chant for the king, the girls and the boys. They saying I'm the best cause they didn't have a choice. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is.